had Drew rejoin the party. I don't know what that. I'm getting some reverb or something in the background. Drew had just been resurrected at the cathedral, and reunited with everybody. I think it was top of the morning, and that was where we left. If memory serves, that's where we left the group with Baron at the Daffendar Manor. Kind of just hanging out there. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. That's pretty much where it was.
Yeah. Last thing I did was let Eric know I had magic.
That's right. All right. Yep, the new shiny Drew 2.0.
Right.
So that's kind of where we left it. Like I said, it's at top of the morning, and we kind of open with the group exiting the cathedral, or the part of the group that was there. Again, Baron at this point, he was at the manor. He had found a quiet table to kind of relax.
In that manor, that's like a nice hotel-ish.
Yeah. That's there's as you've kind of been listening and talking to people, you kind of get the idea that there's three main inns or hotels. There's the one outside the gate. There's the one that you're in, which would be the nicest, and then there's kind of an in between one in the Comfort District.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna try to get a room there.
Okay. All right. Just for ease, so you don't have to hunt for it in the journal. It's the.
Hey, where'd you put the map of this city at? Was that in the journal?
Yeah. That'll be under Iathir. It should be the second thing.
A city map. Yeah, there you go. I saw it. Looked over it twice.
That's right. And did it bring y'all to the page for the main page?
Yeah, that's the page I'm on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I want to make sure everybody was on it. So at this point, I'll leave it up to y'all.
Yeah. I guess I mean, Carrick would say, well, that's one thing done. I think there's only one more thing that Carrick really wants to do, guys. And Carrick's talking about himself in the third person. Fourth person. They can tell me to go talk to my brother and see what's going on with him. But I think I want y'all to come with me because I don't know what to expect.
Can we get Drew some pants first?
Carrick looks down to his own robes that he always wears and says, I don't know. I mean, they're all right.
Y'all are kind of discussing this, making your way. I assume you can correct me. Making your way kind of back toward the center of town. I know that Baron had said that you were going to secure a room. Is that what you'd said, Baron?
Yeah. What I want to do is get a room.
Okay.
And I'll get a suite.
All right. You will, Baron kind of gets back up from the table. He's been kind of just hanging out there, kind of mulling over the events of the past couple of days. And as business kind of starts to pick up in the morning, you kind of notice a change of the guard at the table. Excuse me, at the counter. A different bartender kind of comes in. And you kind of walk up there and inquire about securing a room. He lets you know that there is vacancies available. He kind of refers you back to the board that has the prices on there, and you inform him that you wanted, I think you said the suite, which would be 400 gold pieces for a day or for a night.
And I don't want to take a bath. I'm changing into my very fine clothes.
Okay. Did you say your marathon?
No, my very fine clothes that I
got. Oh, very fine. I thought you said your marathon clothes.
No. You might want to get them ironed. They've been in your bag for like a year.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, he'll collect the 400 gold from you, and then he will slide a large iron key to you and direct your attention to the second floor, and then he'll say, "It's all yours. If you find anything out of order, please let us know. We want to make sure that your stay is acceptable."
Okay. And then after all that, I'll try to find everybody, but y'all go do what you want to do.
Well, I'll say as we're walking, I was like, has anybody seen Baron? What was he doing last night?
I didn't see him. I mean, we were going for the gate. He kind of peeled off. I thought he was just going to go take a piss or something, but I guess he's here somewhere. I mean, we'll message him here in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can get in touch with him now if you want.
Yeah, I guess we could. I mean, might as well talk to him.
So I'll cast sending.
Cast sending. Let's look for a armory, or we passed the place Hartdell's.
Well, y'all can do what you want, but Carrick's walking to the Citadel.
Oh, we don't want to get him armor in case something shakes off in the Citadel?
I mean, y'all can go. That's fine.
Well, it's still middle of the night, right?
No.
No.
It's first thing in the morning. As you kind of walk, like I said, y'all are noticing that the streets are becoming more crowded and things are kind of picking up.
I mean, if we're worried about Groot having armor, I can help with that right here, right now, without going to a shop.
Well, I'll ask you, Carrick, do you think your brother's gonna be hostile towards us?
I don't have any reason to. The only thing I have to go off of is his letter, which was very cordial and open. The only reason I'm concerned is because he hasn't responded to my repeated attempts to contact him with magic.
Well, that's my concern, is like somebody has him under some control, and
well, he might just have protection from divination magic.
Oh yeah, I'm probably way outside the ballpark here. I'm just trying to think of everything, but I mean, just a modicum of protection for Droot would be probably ideal.
I walk over to Droot and pull out my leather strap and touch him on the shoulder, and I give him mage armor.
What's the AC on mage armor?
13 plus your dex.
That'd been nice to have for me. Dang. Okay.
Plus my dex?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we can have a party AC. That'd be fun, huh?
I look at Ivor, and then I cast it on myself, and then I put the strap up.
Well, Ivor, now you know how it feels to be like Roland.
I'll say, I'll tell Carrick that Carrick, I do want to visit your brother as well. I want to know if he knows any more about the vision that I had seen and the words that my goddess spoke to me.
Well, you got a sword, you got some armor.
I can bolster your resilience if you need to. I'm sure.
So can't you give him another point or two? I think you can.
I can give him 2. I can give him 2 points until I take some damage. So
I think we'll be fine right now.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm feeling pretty good, having just come back from the dead.
Your joints are loose. They're warmed up. Everything's good.
Yeah,
I'm throwing a little jumpy since I saw a dude disintegrate in front of me.
That's kind of funny. Like, hey, that's a good D&D question. Like, is it a brand new body, or does it like have all of your old injuries?
No, it's a new body.
It's a brand new body.
Man,
brand new body.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, my soul's feeling blessed, guys. I'm ready to go.
I'm going to cast sending on Baron and tell him, hey, I don't know where you're at, but we got Drew back. We are leaving the cathedral and we're heading to the Citadel. If you want to come.
I'm going to tell him I just took a shower or took a bath. I'm at the manor. Not that y'all know where that is. But I don't know where the cathedral is either.
Well, walk outside. It's the. Oh, never mind. I can't talk anymore.
Yeah. I'll ask around. I'll can meet y'all at the Citadel.
Okay.
And also, we've always had Daruk, right? He's just in a backpack.
No. Well,
You can't talk anymore. I mean, you're at 25
only get
words.
25
Okay.
words.
So yeah, I don't know that either. That's fine. I just assume he just mentioned that in passing.
We did not.
So Baron is going to take his time to kind of clean up. This is the first time in a while that he's well, anybody's been able to do that, but especially now. So feeling much better, having had some drink and some rest and being able to clean up. You're going to make your way back downstairs in the manor. You'll stop off at the bar and inquire of the Citadel, and the bartender will kind of not in any disrespectful way, but he'll kind of almost seem stupefied at you not knowing where the Citadel is, and he'll say, "Friend, it is the largest structure due north of here. It is the home of the king. I'm sure that you saw it when you entered, but if that is the place that you are looking for, I'll go ahead and let you know that they do not accept visitors. So." I'm not sure what your business would be, but be prepared to be turned away.
Yep. Well, I'm wearing like a suit and a top hat and a cane, all kinds of stuff. So
You have an ascot as well.
An ascot.
Pocket watch.
It was itemized, is what you got. It was definitely ascot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I know somebody that knows a king. It'll be all right.
He kind of chuckles and says, "Well, good luck with that, sir. Did you require anything else for your room, or did you find everything in order?"
Everything's all good.
All right. He appears happy to hear that, and he goes back to tending the bar and serving the occupants that have or the patrons that have kind of come in for the morning. You'll exit the manor, and you will see the structure slightly to the north and to the northeast of you, and you'll start making your way down. It's a tree-lined path, very, very well landscaped, kind of leading to the Citadel. And at some point, you would find your group there waiting somewhere on the outskirts of the Citadel grounds.
So, is this the first time I see Drew?
Yeah, you would be walking up. You would recognize the group up ahead. So yeah.
So, okay. I'm gonna look at who I think might be pulling a really shitty joke, which would be character Grim
Ivor has a mask on his faces. I'm just saying.
or Ivor. I mean,
I can't do illusion yet.
yeah. I'm like, this is not funny, dude. This is not a funny joke. And then I'm gonna grab my cane and poke Darut with it to make sure he's not an illusion. And I'm assuming the cane hits home.
I don't see him. I didn't see Drew's reaction to that. I got to refresh.
I didn't either. He's not here.
Oh yeah,
He's not here.
Oh, he's not here.
Oh, he got bounced. It must an opportune time.
yeah, right when it was his moment.
Just say, when he comes back, just say, "Oh man, dead again. Unbelievable."
We'll pause. Maybe
Who
it's
would have seen that dragon right in the middle of town? I mean, he walked right through it.
So like he's an adult red? Okay, well.
Yeah, but he just grabbed a root and flew off. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I'll be like, dude, no, that's just. I mean, his hair is not great, and his sense of touch is terrible right now. But that's Drew.
Yeah. I still won't believe it. I'll still think it's Ivor.
No, I was standing right there.
Even though Ivor's standing right beside him.
Well, I don't know. Either way, he's gone, so we'll just carry on.
Oh,
Can't have a conversation with the root right now.
does he know we can't see him?
I don't know. I'm reconnected.
Or something.
Yeah. His internet's out or dropped.
We can wait a second. There's no rush. Brandon, how close are you being to the house?
Yeah, I'm almost home.
All right.
So that might be a good little 2-minute segue.
If you're on Instagram and you're not following Nature's Metal, you need to.
I follow Humans Are Metal
Do Nature's Metal.
on Reddit.
Well, yeah, okay. It's probably very similar to this, but these are animals. There's a golden eagle holding the head of a duck.
What? Okay.
With like the spawn hanging out, and the caption is, "You look for this?"
That's great.
I do not have Instagram.
There was yesterday there was a elephant trapped in like a mud bog, and hyenas were eating him alive.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, Nature is Metal, man. It's a bad website.
Not for the hyenas.
Yeah, not for the hyenas.
Oh, yeah, that
vultures
was
poke
the
its eye
jackpot
out.
for the hyenas.
Yeah, the hyenas are like, yes.
They're gonna have extra kids.
All our hard work is paid off.
We can have that extra kid now.
Yeah.
And the honey badger walking with just porcupine spawns stuck on his face, and he's just trotting down the road.
Okay, where is this on Instagram?
Yeah, you ever wonder what it looks like not to give a F? This guy.
What is it?
A honey badger that just ate a porcupine.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. Oh.
Holy shit. Apparently it's on this. It's on Twitter.
Oh god.
That's all one word. Animals are metal.
No, nature is metal.
Oh, no wonder. Dang.
Yeah, that one of the lion coming up, taking that dude off the elephant is the tiger jumping on the elephant. Taking
I've
the dude
seen
off
that
the
one.
elephant is retarded.
Dude, I mean, there's one that I won't show it to you because it's just disgusting, but it's like a yak that a lion has like ripped his guts, like his belly open, and he's dragging it, running away with his guts hanging out of him. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's on Reddit. Nature is metal.
Okay.
All right. You can.
That donkey's got a coyote in his mouth. That's incredible. Wow. Some of this stuff's I'm going to be doing this all day tomorrow.
I do. I'm telling you.
Dude, I'm sharing this with y'all. That's insane.
We get everybody back?
Not yet. Was that him?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have James Michael.
Yeah.
Are you watching that crocodile thing?
Holy cow.
Mhm.
Look at how many.
How's he not hitting him with the prop?
How are they not just jumping up in there and ripping him out of there?
Oh, wow.
They probably get fed pretty well. They're
Oh,
probably
there
not
you
even
go.
hungry. Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that. My
Holy
internet.
cow, man.
Dude, when he ran to the corner, there was like 50 of them in one spot.
Oh, geez.
Oh, 50's
Yeah.
generous.
Yeah, that was kind of.
He's talking to him. You can't understand him, but he's talking to him.
Yeah, he's talking.
He's like Drew. Speak with animals.
Speak with animals.
All right, so I just thought everybody was jacking with me with a very poorly timed joke that Jarut was alive, and I poked you with my cane.
You poked me with your cane?
He
I thought you
He
might be
did.
an
He
illusion.
did.
I'm immediately going to kneel and be like, Lord Baron,
Okay, that's true.
you're alive. Like, Lord Baron, I was worried when I didn't see you when I came back to life.
Yeah, that's definitely Baron. Oh, Drew.
Yeah, that's
Drew.
definitely true. Yeah, well. Oh God.
Yeah, well, you look like 5 Shades of Fancy. Where have you been?
Oh, I went and took a bath. Got a nap.
Yeah. Is that deodorant I smell?
It's a little yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here?
All right. Yeah, y'all had just you had kind of walked up on them. You're kind of on the outskirts of the grounds of the Citadel,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what you walked up to.
I guess we're gonna go to the gate.
So we're going to this fancy place that we're not allowed to be at, as far as I'm told.
Is this a crown? Is this a crown or no crown situation? Should I wear my crown?
Of course, always wear a crown.
I think the crown might come in handy here in a little while.
A lady always wears a crown.
Baron's wearing a suit. I'll wear my crown.
At this point,
Meanwhile, I don't even have underwear on.
Yeah, you're Drew's going commando in like a white priest robe.
How long are
He basically looks like he just walked out of the just like he just got baptized.
Yes. Good.
He's wearing that white robe that people wear when they get baptized.
It's a great image. With just a sword in my hand.
Yeah, with a 10-pound sword on his back.
all right, well, let's go to the gate.
All right, so y'all will begin approaching the Citadel. Again, you'll make your way. It's obviously a very nice landscaped grounds of a large castle. Second only to, or first only to the cathedral, being the second tallest structure in Iathair. As you get closer, you notice that there is a large contingent of Silver Shroud that are manning not only the grounds themselves closest to the castle, but standing in front of the entrance. And as you kind of approach, they don't take any aggressive posture, but they do. You do notice that they stand more at attention and place both hands on their spears. And as you do, two of them approach and kind of meet you roughly maybe 25 to 30 feet from the main courtyard of the Citadel, and you would recognize a very elven dialect of voice that says, visitors, there are no visitors allowed at the Citadel. Please return to town.
The king will see us.
That's what the sign said.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, the sign said that?
No, the soldiers that approached you.
Oh, yeah.
The Carrick, you'll see his demeanor change, and very assertively he will say, "The king will see us."
And that will be immediately met with, again, please return to town. There are no visitors. The king takes no visitors.
He has summoned me personally. He will see me.
And who might you be?
Phil Lithfar.
That is a name I haven't heard in quite a while.
There is a definite pause. You can almost just barely perceptibly see their actual helmets kind of almost tilt toward one another just ever so slightly. And you will hear one of them say, that is not a name that should be thrown around lightly, sir. We would advise that you leave unless you have some type of identification.
I hand him the letter that my brother read me.
He will extend his hand and take it from you and begin to look at it. After a few moments, he will say, "Please stay here." And he will turn, and another one of the ones that were off in the wings will approach him. He will hand the letter. You will hear some off in the distance, some mumbling that you can't quite decipher as far as because it's too far away. But then that one will come back, and the one that he handed it to will enter the courtyard, and then you'll see him disappear into the castle main gate. Y'all will stand outside for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then you'll see the gates open, and you will see another member, a few members of the Silver Shroud exiting the castle, but you will also see someone that is not wearing a helmet. It's a younger looking elf, and as he gets a little closer, you can see that he is in armor, battle attire, but he's not wearing a helmet. And he will approach, and he will come up to you, and as he gets closer, he will say, "By the gods, it really is you." And he will kneel, and he will introduce himself as Commander Theodos Ildril. He is the leader of the Silver Shroud, the commander of the Silver Shroud. After he kneels in front of you, he will rise and say, our group, our shroud that is out in the areas beyond the Citadel had made reports of a group that had made its way down from the Umbergoth Mountains. We kept watching them as they approached the city. Were you with that group?
Yes, we came from the mountains.
I did not.
Technically, you did.
Technically, you did.
He seems somewhat dumbfounded, and he says, "I do not know how you managed to make it here, but your timing could not be any better. Please follow me into the Citadel. Your friends are more than welcome to follow. I assume that these 5 individuals are with you."
Yes.
100%.
I half-heartedly point at Baron and considered saying no.
He says, "Please, come in." He says an order in Elvish to the soldiers to stand watch to make sure that there are no interruptions. Take no other visitors, and he leads you through the courtyard or the innermost courtyard and into the main gates of the Citadel itself. You will enter in to the castle and make your way through the main entryway. He will kind of take you off to a side room that appears to be not a banquet room, but more of a large meeting area or meeting room with several large tables, with the largest table in the middle. He will invite y'all to sit down and ask if there is any refreshments or anything that you'd need. That there is some discussion that needs to take place before he announces your presence to King Lithbeer.
I'll take a cup of wine and some cheese.
Can we get a sense of, I mean, is everything like, do I get a feeling, is my spidey sense going off at all? Like, can we get a read on these guys?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Can I aid him in that? I'm proficient in perception.
Absolutely.
And would I notice anything out of the ordinary with the Citadel as far as my memory goes of the place?
Okay. Make an investigations check on that. All right. So not only with his role, but Trevor, what's your?
I just aided him. 18. I mean, my passive perception is 19. So.
Okay. As far as your perception goes, y'all kind of nothing overt. Y'all are very careful in how you study these, but every time y'all pass someone or pass a contingent of soldiers, you're making quick looks just to kind of see their stance, their demeanor.
Are they nervous? Yeah. Are they?
Yeah. Perception wise, you don't notice any erratic movement or anything that would cause you alarm. Based on what you see, now make an insight check.
Oh, clicked off of it.
I'll give you a band for it. I'm proficient on insight as well.
He don't need it, man. I was rolling good tonight.
No. It's only the stuff that doesn't matter.
This matters.
Yes, you not only perception wise as far as the things that you see and the things that you hear just on basic talk between the soldiers as you pass by, you don't notice anything. And then also based on their stance and things like that, insight wise, you do not pick up any type of aggressive or combative behavior. They do not appear to be on alert, or there's nothing, I think, to use your words, there's nothing that's setting off your spidey sense.
Okay.
How many are watching us?
Oh, this place is there are guards everywhere, all down the halls. There is too many to count. Every room would probably have roughly 8 to 10 soldiers in it. It's a fully manned and fully protected castle.
Somebody's leading us out right now. Somebody's leading us.
Yes, the commander of the Silver Shroud, the leader of the city's guard, is led you into the castle, and he's taken you off to one of the side rooms in the main area. It's kind of like a meeting room, or where maybe dignitaries or other people would conduct meetings, and he's kind of invited you to sit down there.
I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to say to him, a lot of guards around here. Is everything good?
He discloses to you. First he kind of looks at you and he says, "That is a fair question. I assume." And then he turns his attention to Carrick, with you claiming that these are friends of yours and your companions. That you, Selathiel, have no objection to us discussing matters of state with your companions present.
Yeah, as of now. No, I mean, don't give away, the family recipes, but
No, he just wants to make sure that that based on that question that because again he realizes the royalty that stands before him. He doesn't want to step out of line.
give him a nod. Yeah.
Then he turns back to Ivor and says, "Yes, gentlemen, that is a fair question. We are things have not been as calm and as peaceful as it once were. The castle is fully manned at all times, based not only on the king's condition, but on the fact that the area surrounding the city, and from what we are receiving reports from Aglarond in general, there's been a large increase in undead activity, different creatures that have been terrorizing parts of not only Iathir outside, but the Aglarondon Peninsula as a whole. So we've taken every precaution to ensure that our king is safe."
And then I'm going to kind of move close to Carrick. And I'm just going to say, did that guy just ask for your approval to talk to me?
I mean, I am royalty.
Oh, here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of slide back, just roll my eyes like, geez, here, Jesus.
Well, I'll walk up to the same guy and be like, "Hey, come here, buddy. Have you ever been outside the walls here?"
He will kind of chuckle and say yes. He says, "Allow me again to introduce myself. I am," and he reintroduces himself as Commander Ildril.
Oh no, I got that. I'm not dim. I was just asking a question.
No, that's what he says. He says, "Do not let my young appearance fool you. I have spent many years protecting this city. I have seen a fair amount of things. Why do you ask such a question?"
I was just saying, what kind of things are outside? You said undead. I mean, that's like gambit of stuff. I mean, it could be like
he says specifically, yes, there are things such as some of our shroud that patrol the outskirts have encountered werewolves. There have been other undead creatures such as wights. and things of that sort that have we have found the carcasses of citizens that have had their life drained from them. So yeah, it has escalated greatly over the past probably year to year and a half.
Some scary stuff, huh?
He kind of nods and says that they are adversaries that we are not accustomed to fighting.
You said it started about a year and a half ago?
He turns to you and he says, yes, my liege, we ever since your brother, the king, was afflicted with some unknown malaise, things have begun turning in the kingdom and in this part of the peninsula.
Would Carrick pinpoint that time frame to coincide with the beginnings of our adventures in Phandalin?
That would be a good connecting of the dots.
So the time I started using my spell book.
That would be a good rational thinking line of thinking.
I'm going to walk over to Carrick and ask Carrick, do you know what happened to your father? Do you know how he died? Or can we find out?
Yeah, well, that's why we're here to talk to my brother.
Well, maybe Homeboy knows.
I mean, we could ask him, or we could just wait a few minutes and go talk to the king.
Okay. Maybe we could hear two different stories. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't hurt. Go for it.
Well, I mean, he's going to tell you the truth. He ain't going to tell me shit. I'm just a dwarf with a crown.
I'll ask him, who is it you're going to speak to before we speak to the king?
I'm going to speak to the king himself.
Okay. What is his affliction? You mentioned he got sick about a year ago. What happened to him?
He says, I feel, let's see, I feel remiss to discuss something like that. It feels out of my lane, so to speak, whatever that elf euphemism would be. But he agrees and he says, no one really knows. Ever since he came back from a hunt in the Yearwood, he began complaining of a sickness. He has pushed everyone away. The only, besides the closest bodyguards of the Silver Shroud and myself and the speaker, he does not meet with anyone, meets with no dignitaries. The speaker handles all of the public proclamations and any legal disputes. He has, for all intents and purposes, remained a recluse ever since that time. He would not even allow the clerics in the cathedral to attempt to diagnose his disease or find a remedy.
I'm going to raise my hand.
Return his attention to you.
He went on a hunt in the Yearwood and you didn't go with him?
The Silver Shroud did. They did not return.
So you didn't go?
Oh no, I did not.
Hey, and the speaker, who's the speaker, gentleman?
The speaker is, and he will. Let me pull it and find everybody. His name is Conic Alistara.
Conic?
Yeah, I'll pull it right up here so you can. There you go.
God, Jesus Christ, I'm terrible at spelling.
And he'll say he is the current speaker for the king. Ever since the king has withdrawn from the public eye, the speaker has taken on the role of all public appearances.
I'm not a man of medicine, but oftentimes, like ill people don't want to talk to like healers about their actual symptoms. What are the symptoms?
His appearance has taken a dire turn, and then he turns to Carrick and says, "I fear you may not even recognize your brother." He refuses to go outside, and we seldom ever, if ever, see him eat or drink. And that is about the extent of what we were able to observe. Again, he keeps us at arm's length and refuses anybody that attempts to help.
Have there been any deaths in the kingdom, in the citadel, or maybe around his presence?
He said he kind of looks at you inquiring. I mean, we have had a large number of disappearances, not only in Iathir, but also in the surrounding countryside, certain villages and small towns. We attribute that to the random violence in the slums that has ever the king has taken a turn. It seems that violence has ramped up. Our Strahd has had difficulty quelling the violence sometimes. As far as the stuff in the countryside, we attribute that to the creatures that have kind of made their way out of the Yearwood.
But I mean, here in the citadel.
Not that I'm aware of.
I want to ask. This is a DM question, not a question for anybody in the room. Since I assume we've been talking to this guy for over a minute.
Yeah.
What is his class level above a 10?
Above a 10?
Yeah. Above, below.
Yours. You have to. Yeah, you have to.
You don't have to tell me his class level. It's just above a 10, below a 10, or at 10.
It's whatever his class level is, or Baron's class level. It's either you have to say it's either equal to. Yeah.
You're breaking up real bad. I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
Who, me or Trevor?
Trevor.
You don't have to tell him the exact number. It just has to be above, below, or equal to Baron's class level.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me pull up his sheet. That was his handout for y'all. I got to pull up his character sheet.
Right.
Where is he? Iathir. There we go. Right. It would be well, this is going to be like a really stupid question. When you say like class level.
Well, like we're level 10, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I got you. I was like, yeah. Oh no, he would be higher.
Okay, and his since he's higher, I get to know two of these things. What's his current hit points?
178.
Yeah. Okay.
We got this.
We got this, guys. We can take him out.
So that's just called know your enemy. I mean.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. I that's the first time that I've had that. I remember you using that a few times for
Right.
Trevor. I remember. Well, what's the second thing you wanted to know?
That was it.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you got to know two things.
Yeah. Well, I knew I got to know his class level was higher than 10.
Oh, I got you. And the hit points is the second one. I got you. Yeah. All right. So yeah,
You can just ask class level first, and you know it's higher or lower.
Well, yeah.
he'll go into as much depth. He's very forthcoming with information. He'll detail the issues that you've addressed and the questions that you've had. He'll talk about the problems and the uncertainty with what exactly is wrong with the king, and then he'll ask if you have any further questions, and if not, he would then go and make sure that the king is of good enough health to meet.
Yeah, go see the king.
Let's do it.
All right. He will depart and kind of leave y'all there. While he's gone, I think a couple of y'all asked for something to drink. Some of the Citadel staff will bring in a tray of drinks and refreshments. He will return to the group and
Hey, real quick before, because I have a note here and I'm going to forget. And this goes way back. I apologize. Root's ashes. Do I still have them?
No, I believe that they that's what's used to mend and create a new body from the ash.
All right.
And let me look it up because I don't have that. I don't remember.
No. Do it. You can do it later. Just keep going.
Okay.
I had a note that if I still have them, I want to do something with them. No. Sorry, I was gonna have the guy in town make him a new holy symbol out of it.
Oh,
That's actually kind of cool. I want to know that now. Let me look it up. Let's see here.
actually, I think the spell says anybody that's died within 2.
It kind of leaves that ambiguous because it says that it replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs, and then it says can provide a new body if the original no longer exists. So it doesn't really make mention because technically you kind of did both. You provided the new body, but you actually had part of him there, and so it replaced the missing organs and limbs. So I mean I guess if you're just gonna make him a new holy symbol, we could say maybe there's a few kind of like when you when you put together a new TV or something or a new entertainment center. There's always a few pieces left over that you didn't use.
Yeah. I'll just say I have some leftover ashes that I think I can get forged into a new holy symbol form.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, I would say holy symbol is important. I can't really do magic without it.
Yeah, it's 100% right.
Have one.
Yes.
That's fine. Yeah,
I never have parts left over.
We'll just say that's the few pieces, the few screws that you couldn't seem to find a place for.
Always have parts left over.
All right. So he will, like I said, the commander will then bring you through the castle. He'll bring you out of the meeting area and through the castle. You'll retreat deeper into the center part of the citadel, and then you will begin making your way up through the different chambers as you go higher. You will recognize this as again, this was your home. You'll recognize where he's taking you. He's taking you to the throne room where you spent many years watching your father rule and hold court. As you approach the large iron doors that lead to the throne room itself, he will turn and simply say, I would simply ask that you acknowledge that y'all are all welcome to come into the entryway of the throne room, but it has been requested that the king meet with his brother in private.
Understood.
And so with that, he'll kind of nod, and then y'all will be led into a...
Hold on, before we go, Kirik, you good?
Yeah, good.
And real quick, like,
Test the badge and just see if it works in the throne room.
It does. It does work in the throne room.
I just said, Carrick, ask him about the vision.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that took y'all there.
The battle map.
All right. So, no, it doesn't have to be so antagonistic. It's not a battle map. It's just a map.
It's definitely a battle map.
100% about that.
Yeah.
And
No, as you enter, describing what you see. Obviously, you can see it on the map, but it's a very long stone hallway that is. Carrick, you obviously recognize every bit of this. It does not appear to be quite as good shape as what you remember. It appears that it has not had the normal care shown to it by the staff. You'll notice debris and tables that are not kept well. It looks like that it hasn't been serviced in a while. This would kind of coincide or agree with the statements that the commander made that the king has not allowed any of the other castle staff or other people enter in here. The only other people that you do see is on what appears to be very short, almost maybe 6-inch pedestals leading straight up. You will find silver shrouds standing on each of these at attention, and they are kind of on each side of the entryway. And the commander will invite the guests or Carrick's guests to kind of remain here, and they are free to. You'll see some refreshments on the table that they've had recently brought into this area, but he'll kind of invite y'all to remain here and visit, and he is going to then lead Carrick to meet his brother.
And is it dark in here?
It is lower light. Yes, it's there are candles and torches on the walls. Where you would expect certain windows to be boarded up to prevent light coming in, and it is darker than you remembered. Again, this does not have the importance and the regal feel that you remember from your childhood. And so, like I said, he will beckon you that way and ask you to proceed to the throne room.
Yeah, I'm following.
Real quick before they walk off, I just want to I'm going to close my eyes and take a deep just whiff of divine sense.
Okay. And remind me what that does again.
Within 60 feet, I can sense any celestial, fiend, or undead.
Okay.
And I know what type they are.
Okay. No, nothing kind of pings off on you at this point.
All right, cool. Just making sure.
Okay. Oh, that went the wrong. There we go. I did click off the token. It moved my whole thing. All right. So like I said, he'll continue to lead you up, and you'll see the same thing. You'll a long hall, more soldiers, and then you will approach the large wooden doors that lead directly into the throne room that you remember. He will give orders to the guards that this is a private conversation and that they should not be disturbed. And then he will show you in. And you will now be in the throne room. And as you approach, he will kind of walk up to. You'll see the same soldiers lining the path to the throne. Once you do, he stops there, and then you will see an individual that similar to him as far as not wearing a helmet, but she is in full battle armor, and she will approach the commander, and he will turn to you and say, "My liege, please allow me to introduce you to the second in command. Her name is Captain Larithian." And let me find her handout.
Quickly, just at the room, does the room appear different or the same kind of disrepair, or is it?
Exactly the same type of disrepair, almost like, just as he was described, just like someone has just kind of been a recluse here, has not allowed any type of, quote unquote housekeeping. It's very dark, and it's not as you remember it.
Okay.
But he will introduce the captain as his second in command of the Silver Shroud. She will. She's been briefed that you were coming, and so she will bow and kneel before you, and then raise and say, "It is good to have you back, Prince Lafille." And she will then turn to him and say, "I will give the floor to you all." She will begin leaving, and she will exit the room. And as you kind of turn and watch her leave the room, she will close the door behind, and then the commander will then go forward and take a seat at the right hand or the left hand down from the throne, and he will say, "You may approach, and you will take a look at your brother, and you will see him sitting on the throne, and he again does not look as you remember it. He appears to be hundreds of years older." He looks sickly, and as he kind of raises his head to look at you, there's a mixture of facial things that you see. It almost appears to be a surprise, um, happiness, sadness, all kind of mixed together. And he will then say your name, and he will say, "Brother, please, please come closer. It has been too long." And he will attempt to try to get up, to try to meet you at the foot of the stairs.
When he stands, I'll kneel.
And when he sees you do that, he says, Please rise. It has been far too long." He tries to embrace you, and as he does so, you can feel how emaciated that he is, how frail that he feels. This is not the brother that you remember from your sparring matches when you were growing up. Someone that you knew that was an accomplished warrior appears to be someone of ancient age. And you can even tell that he's having trouble standing, and his weight shifts to you to hold him up. And as you do that, you kind of help him back to sit down back on the throne.
As I'm holding him up and embracing him still, he'll hear me whisper an incantation in his ear.
Okay.
And I'll cast remove curse on him.
No, 1 second. All right. As you do that, you will kind of wait a moment. Oh, 1 second. I want to see something here real quick. I just want to make sure. Make sure I don't say the incorrect thing. Yeah, as you do that, he'll kind of turn head through and look at you, and you will not notice any type of change in him.
I'll help him back to the throne then.
Okay. You will getting kind of sat back down on the throne. You kind of hear him kind of moan as it does, as everything kind of causes him physical pain, and then you will begin to exchange talk of where you've been and what you've done. He says, I never thought I would see the day in which I would actually be able to lay my eyes upon you again. How did you come of my letter?
It was delivered to me by an old friend from a small town that was actually destroyed. A Harbin, what's his last name?
Webster.
Yeah, Fandolin, which is where my adventuring days had begun.
He goes, I have been sending those letters for decades. As my influence here in Iathir has grown, so has my list of contacts. I still never thought that one would actually reach you. I am so sorry for what happened.
What can you tell me of Father?
He explains to you that both your father and your mother passed away from what he just believes to be sickness and old age. That was one of his single biggest regrets, that you were not here when that occurred, and that you could not spend your last times with them.
Do you remember why I was sent away?
He nods.
Did Father tell you anything about the book that I had found?
When you mentioned the book, you noticed that he kind of tightens. The lines in his face tighten, and then finds enough energy to turn his head to the soldiers and to the commander, and says, all leave us. And as he does that, the commander looks at him in shock and says, my king, never has court been held without Silver Shroud. The king then makes it known that while he may be a frail body, he is of sound mind, and his orders will be carried out. And then he gives the commander a last warning to follow his edict and to leave the chamber and take the Silver Shroud soldiers with him. That this would be a conversation between him and his brother. And as he does that, you can see that the commander almost feels defeated, not taking it personal, but as if that it would be a dereliction of duty to do so. But he agrees. He nods his head, and will leave the chamber, as do all the soldiers. They will file out and leave the throne room. I'm just taking them off the board. All right. As the last Silver Shroud pulls the door shut to him, and where's this guy? The king will then turn his attention back to you, and he will say, you'll kind of hear him kind of sigh and say, yes, I know of the book. And it almost appears that it pains him to ask. He will say, did you bring it?
It's in a safe place, and I have access to it.
He kind of seems to mull over this and then says, there is no safe place. But you did bring it.
I can supply it if I need to.
He then says, I am aware that on that fateful day when you were banished from the kingdom, at the time I did not understand why. I thought it was purely because you had embarrassed our father and embarrassed me and practiced an art which had not thus been practiced in our kingdom, especially anyone of royal lineage of the Lithvir lineage. It was not until years later that I realized the reason for which you were banished, and that was for your protection.
Well, tell me, brother, who does this book belong to?
He says it. He kind of pauses, almost as if he's scared to say the name, and he says, I only know of him as the Ancient One, and that book is of importance to him, and I do not understand or know of how it ended up in our family's hands, but I do know that it did, and it was hidden away by our father to protect it. And when you found it and used it, our father, before he passed away, explained to me that I must find you and ensure that not only that you were safe, but that the book is destroyed.
Can you tell me how Father came into possession of it? Did he share that?
He did not share that. All I know is that it was bad luck that you found the book, and ever since you left, things were quiet for a time, and then roughly a year and a half ago or so, and he kind of pauses, and then he says, darkness has descended upon the land, and I have no doubt that it is due to the book. And I know that because I have met the Ancient One. I went, and then he kind of pauses again. You can kind of tell that the story is physically exhausting to him to try to recount it. But then he will begin to recount something similar to what the commander had said. He said that he had gone for one of his hunts in the Yearwood back when it was believed to be relatively safe, that as he always did, he had a very large contingent of the Silver Shroud that would always accompany him and escort him on hunts. And he only remembers darkness at some point. That part seems to be blocked from his memory, but he knows that he found himself in a place where he was face to face with a creature of the night, and he was bitten. And since that time, he has been deteriorating from the inside out, and he was kept under lock and key for a period of time by this creature, and that during this time where he was imprisoned, he was questioned about the book, and it was at that point that he knew that it must belong not only to this thing, but that it would desperately seek it. It was desperately seeking it. That it mentioned that it had detected continued use and knew that it was no longer within his reach, and he demanded to have it back, and said that he would destroy not only me but the entire kingdom of Iathir and the surrounding peninsula if the book was not returned to him. At that point, he kind of stops for a few moments, kind of drops his head, and continues to try to collect his thoughts. And then he kind of raises his head and says, I do not know how long I was gone. I do know that some type of shape shifter of some sort took his appearance, so that his missing, so his absence would not be noted by the kingdom. And he has no doubt that for a time, unknown to him, but for a time that someone else acted as the king. And then he says, just recently, he was brought back under cover of night into the castle, and he did receive your messages, and he attempted to respond, but those messages that he tried to get back to you were blocked. And so you can tell it pains him to know that while you were coming home, and that is what he wanted, he also knew that you would be walking into danger, and he had no way of warning you.
Speaking of walking into danger, I wouldn't be alive were it not for my party that is also here, and I would like for you to meet them and for them to meet you. They're the reason I'm alive.
And he kind of nods and says, I would like that very much. And he says, I will call and allow them to be brought in. And as he does that, as he kind of raises his head to call for the silver shroud, you will have this cold kind of feeling kind of take over your body. Nothing physically happens to you, but a chill kind of runs down your spine, and out of nowhere, that you were able to see walks from the shadows, almost as if they were invisible. You will see standing before you what appears to be some type of dark elf in armor that will appear out of the shadows and say, enough of this. Where is the book, Carrick?
I'm going to try and slyly touch my badge. And I'm going to say, who are you to harm the king?
Make no mistake, the king's death has already been, he's already received his death sentence. If you do not want the rest for your kingdom, simply hand over the book. And you hit the badge?
Yeah, I badged, who are you to harm the king? Hopefully everyone.
Okay. When you said that, or excuse me, when you activate the badge, since he said that after you activated the badge, Baron and Ivor will recognize the voice. Baron and Ivor, Ivor's asleep right now, but Baron and Ivor would recognize the voice as the one that sent you messages threatening your family.
Is the door closed to this room?
Yes, the door is closed. And
Sitting here with these guards.
How close am I to the king right now?
Well, hang on. The door's closed, and we're sitting here with these silver guard people.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just tell these silver guard people. Is the commander there too?
The commander, he's not going to be in your sight line, so you wouldn't know that the commander's not in there.
Okay, well, I'll just, as loud as I can scream, everybody get in the chamber. Something's wrong with the king.
All right. As you kind of do that, you all of the soldiers in the area that you're at, Baron, are going to all of a sudden you're going to kind of startle them with not only the power of your words but what you just said. They will ready their spears and kind of look at one another like, what is going on? And
yeah, if they even like check up, I'm gonna scream at them, go, go, go.
Okay. Oh, they checked up, and then, like I said, there was the captain is going to at once come running into view. Excuse me. Where's my commander token? There it is.
Well, I'm going to look at Baron and be like, Baron, what's wrong? What's going on?
Bad guy inside with Carrot.
You won't see this. You'll see the captain come running and say, what is the meaning of this? What is wrong? But you'll also hear, since you've heard his voice, Baron, you'll hear the commander, the male, the head of the Silver Shroud, yelling, break down the door, as he hits the door. Appears to be holding the door, but they have heeded your call, Baron, and the Silver Shroud are now. Let me go back to I was on the wrong layer.
I'll start running.
The Silver Shroud they are grouping up on the door, attempting to break down the heavy doors. The individual, will cut real quick back to the individual. This individual standing before Carrick is going to hear this and simply say, "So you have called your friends. So is that the path that you have chosen?"
I'll take a step forward. And
Can we be moving?
Yeah. I mean, y'all heard what I said, so
Yeah, I'm saying if he's screaming run, I'm moving.
Yeah, I'm hitting the door.
Okay, y'all are all hitting the door, and as you do that, he says, "So be it." And you will notice that his this I don't know, appearance seems to almost kind of break in and out of existence. And what appeared to be a actual person standing before you, almost kind of like, when I guess you'd say a hologram goes out in the future, he kind of starts to fade out of existence. And the Silver Shroud will break open the door with the aid of the Iron Lords. And let me see here. Let me zoom out so I can just grab everybody at one time, because that's too close.
Yeah, I'm at the door.
All right, you are. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to drag. Oh, that didn't drag everybody here.
Robes and all.
I can move.
Yeah. I was trying to get you past the Let's see here.
I can move too. So
yeah, go ahead and move everybody up to the door. That'll make it easier to grab everybody at one time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. All right, I think that should get most people in here. Oh man. I'm just going to grab y'all one at a time. There you go, Ivor. All right, I think that's everybody. I'm not going to worry about grabbing Jack's token right now. So now y'all should be able to move freely at this point.
yep.
All right. As you do that, I assume, Carrick, when he disappears, are you going to take any action or anything like that?
no, I'm just gonna still just trying to be getting between him and the king.
Okay, so you'll kind of go up to the king's aid. All right. Y'all will, the Iron Lord will run in and along with the Silver Shroud, and it will be it will be kind of mass chaos for a second as the throne room is filled with warriors. The king is going to kind of slump to his side, but he does not appear to be harmed. And you will then receive a message, Carrick, that says he kind of sears through your head. You'll feel a similar pain described to you by Baron and Ivor that have received similar messages to this. Because again, at this point, you had never heard this voice. This is different than the voice that you heard coming through the book.
That's not the one that I heard from the book.
Huh?
This is not the voice I heard from the book.
Correct. This is not the voice that you heard from the book on the 2 occasions that you've heard the voices. That was the voice that Baron and Ivor had heard. But you will receive a similar feeling, and you will feel your kind of mind, ripped. No damage or anything. But I mean, this is you'll hear this vile voice that you just heard a moment ago, and it will simply say, one way or the other, the book will be returned. Your choice has now affected an entire kingdom. And with that, if you want to respond, you can.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all will rush today. Everyone will take up defensive positions around the king. And when it is apparent that, when I say apparent, when it appears as best as you can tell that the threat has moved on, I give y'all free reign to handle this however you want. You can talk to the king. You can, however you want to do it.
I'm like, Carrick, where is he? Where's the guy?
Yeah, I'll walk up to Carrick and say, I heard the voice, same voice I heard in the past.
He was apparently some form of illusion, but he asked for the book.
Yeah.
What is up with this stupid book?
You have the book hidden, right? Like in a pocket dimension or something?
Yeah, it's hidden.
Yeah.
As y'all kind of discuss this around one another, the king is going to kind of look up again. He just looks like he's run a marathon, although all he's been doing is sitting there. But he will look up to the 6 of you all, and then he'll kind of look at Carrick and say, "Are these your friends?"
Brother, let me introduce. I guess since Baron's already up there talking, this is Baron Leopold Hill.
I'll take my hat off.
He will nod and extend his hand, and
I'll shake his hand
and say that
and kneel and
I am
bow or whatever. I don't know what to do.
Actually, yeah, that's actually kind of funny. I can see Baron kind of doing just that, like kind of like the in between of both type things.
When Carrick introduces, I'm going to kind of correct him, like it's Lord Baron.
He's going to kind of hold that same hand out that he reached to shake your hand, and he'll kind of flip his wrist and say, "No, please, Lord Baron, please rise."
Grand Viceroy.
Any friend of my brother has no need to kneel before me. I am eternally grateful that you returned my brother safely here. I can only imagine how arduous the path must have been to get here. I pledge to you now that anything that I can do within my power, I will do my best to show that thanks to you. Then he kind of turns his attention.
I'll just say nobody died too many times.
I'm gonna say I'm glad you brought that up. I have a list of things that.
Yeah, and I'll just tell him you got to watch that one. He's part rogue.
You'll kind of see just the faintest of a smile on his face. And you will introduce Jarut and Ivor and Jack and Grim to everyone, I say to everyone too, that to the king, he will meet everyone, and he will say,
Hey,
"There's."
doing that, real quick again, I want to kind of close my eyes and just take a deep breath and use divine sense.
The king will light up like a Christmas tree.
Okay.
I want to look at the king and just ask his permission if he's willing. Could I take a look at him to see if I could at least diagnose maybe what may be ailing him? Would maybe a message check?
Absolutely.
While he does that, I want to just kind of tap Carrick and be like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?"
Yeah.
28.
Oh, +9 on medicine. Hello.
Whoa, we got a doctor in the house.
Yeah.
Like we actually have a real doctor and a fictitious doctor. While they're discussing things, Carrick and Drew, the king kind of bids you forward, Grim, and says, as you kind of place your hands on him and kind of look him over, you will, based on your adventures, you kind of recognize some of the telltale signs of what you're facing. He appears to be showing signs of decay, almost as if he's an undead. And with the, I don't know if Drut's divine sense, whether he relayed that fact to the group in that moment or not.
No, that's what I was pulling Carrick aside.
Gotcha. Okay, so I got you. So, but yeah, you kind of recognize the fact that there is something seriously wrong with him. You kind of recognize some of the signs that he as kind of described when Carrick first laid eyes on him. He almost seems to be emaciated and decaying from the inside out. And he does appear. He doesn't necessarily appear to be a human or actually a normal elvish at this point.
So with Carrick aside, I'm gonna say, Carrick, I know we can both tell your brother doesn't look well, and I'm not really sure how to tell you this, but I have this sense where I can feel things that are undead, and most assuredly, I can tell you your brother is not really among the living right now.
Yeah, he kind of stinks a little bit. Huh?
I'm gonna after I lay my hands on him and kind of give him a once over. I'm gonna ask him if there's a God that he prays to.
He kind of looks at you and says, "I gave up of any notion of a God a long time ago." But again, he kind of recounts to you the same thing that he had recounted to Carrick about his experience in the wood, because I would assume as part of your examination, you were asking him questions and things like that on how he feels and things like that. He'll recount his experience in the woods, the memory loss of not remembering exactly how he came into the imprisonment of this one that he calls the Ancient One. But he will recount to you being bitten by this being, and then ever since that period of time, he is going to he recounts to you that feeling of eternal hunger and that feeling that he is dying a little bit more every day.
This eternal hunger that he speaks of, I want to dig in a little deeper at that. Is that like an eternal hunger for blood, or is it eternal hunger for like just trying to find himself?
He kind of nods, almost like he's ashamed, and to when you mention blood.
I'm gonna shake my head and turn around and be like, I want to tell you, you obviously you're not doing good. We all know that. But we're going to do what we can to fix this. Let me go talk to your brother real quick.
Hey, point of order, real quick. The divine sense would let me know what type. So if it's like a vampire, I would know it's a vampire.
It is a vampire.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Kara.
What I was going to walk back and be like, listen.
Yeah.
I think we concur on two points here. That he's been bitten by a vampire at some point.
And I'll just confirm that. Yes, I sensed it as well.
So, I mean, not good.
Makes sense as to why all the windows are boarded shut in here, huh?
So I'd say, Kirik, I'm sorry. I know this must be hard since it's your family, but I don't know if you want him to continue an undeath like this.
Well,
Well, if he dies, Carrick is a king.
right here. I mean, we need to see if there's maybe a cure. I mean, maybe there's a way we can fix it. Clearly, he's still himself.
He's 100% himself.
I mean, and he's not aggressive.
Yeah.
Towards us, anyway. Who
Yeah.
knows what he does at night?
He kind of looks at y'all talking, and he can't hear what you're saying, but he can see that y'all are in serious talk. He says, he kind of says, "Gentlemen, I can only guess that by now you probably have a greater understanding of what ails me." And again, he almost seems ashamed to discuss this. He kind of drops his head and says, he has fought the hunger as best that he can, but he admits that there have been secret outings by the closest members of his Silver Shroud to bring animals and other creatures that they are able to hunt, but not kill, so that he is able to somewhat satiate that hunger. He almost feels like, you can kind of tell he almost feels like he's like some type of rabid dog that needs to be put down. But he says, by my dying breath, whenever that may be, I will make sure that the crown passes to you or whoever you deem fit, brother. But he says, before we move any further, not knowing what tomorrow holds, I want to make sure that not only you, but your friends know what it means to me to actually get to see you one last time. And so the commander who was standing in here, he calls forward, and the commander comes up, and you can kind of tell he's distraught as well. That this has kind of been a lot to take in all at once. He pulls the commander up to him, instructs him to obtain 6 seals, and the commander nods and will leave the room, and he will be gone maybe 5 minutes, and then he will come back with a box, and in that box he will open it and hand the box to the king, and the king will ask each one of you, starting with Baron, to come forward. And
Okay.
huh?
And what are we doing here? What you kind of broke up the 6th seal. What was that?
Yeah. The seal, or he had asked for a seal or a crest.
Okay.
And so the commander left the room and has come back with a box that he's opened and then put it in the king's hands. And so now the king is kind of calling y'all up one at a time, and he started with Baron.
Okay.
And he kind of works his way down the line to all those that would that would approach him.
Yep. I mean, when I
And,
approach him, I'll say, "There's no reason to be embarrassed or afraid. I'm gonna share a secret with you. I'm wearing a fur-lined thong."
he kind of almost pulls his head back like he's going to laugh, but like it would actually cause physical pain to laugh. But you do see a smile across his face, and he says, "I can tell that you are the funny one of the group." And he kind of smiles and he thanks you again for getting his brother to him. And he thanks each of you individually as you come up there. And he pins on each of your clothing items the Iathir crest.
My grandmother had one of these. She wore it Sundays.
So I'll turn to Carrick again and just kind of look at him and say, Carrick, if this were any other situation, I would immediately fight against a vampire, but you've done so much for me and this is your family. I'll proceed however you want to do. If you want to look for a cure, I'm not aware of one, but perhaps Grim knows, or we can ask the priest, but I'll follow your lead in how to handle this.
Well, I don't think I'm ready to put him in the ground at this point, and clearly not ready to go.
It makes like we got to kill him. It's unfortunate.
I'm starting to second guess that bag of ashes now.
Has anybody ever watched House of Cards?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that very first scene where the dog that's been hit by the car out
Breaks his neck.
He just snaps his neck and says, "Sometimes you just got."
That's the best scene to anything I've ever seen.
I mean, there isn't one.
So he again, as y'all kind of continue to talk, each of you now wear the Iathir crest, which, as it has in the description, basically not only will give you unfettered access to anywhere in the kingdom, but you are also able to take advantage of certain privileges as a wearer of the crest. This basically makes you almost a member of the royal family, and so. He then turns to his brother and says, I must rest, but the day is still long, and if you so choose, there is plenty here that you may be able to take advantage of, and also plenty here that may need your help. I fear that this is not going to be the last that we hear of that. I know for a fact, based on my time, again, I don't know how long they kept me and how long that imposter ruled my city, but I do know this, that the parts that I heard from this being in discussions, not only with me when being asked about this book, but based on the things I heard others speak of where I was held captive, that book is the key on how to destroy him. And that is why he wants it so badly.
I will.
He can have it when we're all dead.
And he kind of smiles again and says, "I pray that be the case. That he would be the one to perish. But if you are not going to return the book, then please be prepared for retribution. He is older than the oldest. He is eternal, and there is no escape from him."
I'm gonna take my. I'm gonna kneel again at the base of the throne, and I'm gonna take out my spell book and lay it down in front of me, and I'm gonna draw both of my short swords and lay them on the ground in front of me. And I'm going to tell him I'm here, and we're gonna fix this.
And again, a mix of happiness and sorrow kind of across his face. You can tell that this is a moment that he's longed for so many years, but you can tell that he hates that it's under these circumstances. And he says that he will grant your group aid in whatever capacity that he can. That the kingdom is yours, and that the only thing that he asks is that. That any issues or problems that arise in the city, to report it to him, so that they can handle it accordingly. As most
Did I freeze again?
at this point, very few would be aware of your presence back in the city, and he does not want to cause any unrest. That as there's been enough of that already.
Sorry, so was he telling me to remain hidden?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to use that symbol. I'm not going to openly display that symbol until.
Well, he was just saying like a member of the family.
Okay.
You can display the symbol. He was asking Carrick specifically not to necessarily announce the presence of because Carrick would understand this as he remembers the long history that he's a banished prince.
I understand now. Okay.
Yeah, that there would be political conflict that could possibly arise.
Oh yeah, somebody might be trying to assassinate somebody.
Right. So, but yes, no, you can wear the crest with honor. Again, it will doors that would previously be closed to you would be opened. It would warrant heavy discounts in certain storefronts. You have no fear of being stopped by the Shroud. No fear of any type of taxation. You also have free reign to stay either in the Citadel or in any inn that you so choose for free. And at any point that you would need assistance from the Silver Shroud, their swords are yours.
What's going on?
I have a small dog. Would it be an issue if he came into the?
Get your wolf in here now. Yeah.
He obviously agrees to that and says that we would simply ask that you keep him on the castle grounds.
There's lots of
Castle grounds. Yeah.
You probably like that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. He doesn't want it going, traipsing through the market.
Okay.
But you're more than welcome to bring him into the
I think we could
Citadel
probably get a
ground.
deep discount on the leash, maybe.
Huh?
We could probably get a discount on the leash for the.
Maybe you could come up with a spell to shrink him a little bit so he doesn't look quite so imposing.
Polymorph. We can put him. He can be a bird on your shoulder.
No.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah.
I think we could ask the king for a extra badge for the pin on the wolf, maybe.
on his collar. Pin it on his collar.
Maybe you could get one for Roland. Maybe.
Roland has one.
We might have an extra one, depending on
I
how
haven't
many.
seen that guy in forever.
Was that too meta? I mean, Roland would like one.
No, didn't you have? I thought we made Roland one.
You have a badge, but not a crest.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have our free pass badge for the town now.
Yeah. Whenever he comes back, he'd like to know that he can come here and take advantage of some of the same stuff.
Yeah. Well, Roland. I mean, okay. Well, I guess.
You're gonna tell me to roll for something?
No, Carrick can ask for that.
What's that?
One more badge in case Roland shows back up.
Oh yeah, I mean, now's not the time. We can get one.
No, I understand. Yeah, but you can ask for that at some point.
Yeah.
I'll remember that, Carrick.
We gotta know one to be one. So now that we have one, we can ask for another one.
Gotcha. He will also ask as this conversation draws to a close. He will say, "I must know, how did you reach?
How what?
how did you reach us? How did you reach Iathir again, Carrick?
I teleported us here. Well, not here. I was going to talk to you about that. But we teleported to the Umbergoth.
He looks completely surprised at that. You and he kind of stutters a bit and seems taken aback. You teleported to the citadel at the top of the Umbergoth Mountains.
That's the one.
When he says that, I'm like, way in the back. I'm gonna be like, our boy's got skills.
He's actually not only just from the mention of that, but he's going to say, "I always knew that you were more powerful than me." And he looks at the group and says, "You truly must be warriors of renown to be able to survive that. I do not even send our own silver shroud to there."
Technically, we almost all survived.
And
we had a small visit with the Morning Lord early this morning, and young Drew, we can say now, is only mere minutes old.
Drew. He will look and say, "Well, there is no need for you to take those kind of risks in the future. I will make sure that before you leave the castle, that you are taken to our teleportation circle, so that you will have ability to come here as needed, and you will now know the sigil sequence for the Iathir teleportation circle."
Nice.
And then with that, he will kind of look at each individual of the group, and then kind of look at y'all collectively and say, "My energy is spent, but I want to make sure, is there anything else I can do or any other questions that I can answer?"
Yeah, I'll say, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll look at the king like, speaking of me just kind of being mere minutes old, you'll notice I'm wearing these robes right here. Think there's any way, I've noticed your guys kind of got some nice shiny armor and stuff. Think there's any way I could get something like that?
He nods and says that yes, if you would like, I can have a suit of armor taken from the Silver Shroud Battalion and given to you. While it may look fancy, you may be able to find better things in the storefronts in town, which you would now be able to take advantage of discounts. But until you make a decision for that, I can get a standard suit of armor for you.
I'd appreciate it because I also don't have any gold either.
And he says, "I consider it done." And he kind of gives a command to the commander, and the commander nods and says that, "Will you be staying at the Citadel or will you be staying in town?"
Theo, is it?
Yeah.
No, Theo. I kind of flashed a little badge I got. I think we'll be staying here, brother.
I'll look at Theo and be like, "Hey, and shield too. Can you get me a
All right. And he kind of smiles, and you can tell he's glad to have you all here. Again, the things that you have done, not only to get here, but the way that you charged into the room to aid the king. He is willing to help out in any way that he can. He is appreciative to have people of your caliber here. So he moved again and said, "I will have sword, shield, and armor delivered to you." And
I assume, just like coming home from college, Carrick's gonna post up in his old chambers.
Okay. There's plenty of room for everybody, and Ares will be welcome in. Either in the royal stables on the grounds, or actually in Ivor's keep, his room, if he so chooses. He leaves it up to Ivor.
All right, Baron's gonna start walking out.
Okay.
Just
All right.
like
I want
twirling
to walk
his
into
cane.
I want to walk into Theo and be like, listen, I know y'all have like a stash of like some super fancy booze around here.
What?
Some super fancy booze around here.
Absolutely.
Lead the way, brother.
All right. He will.
Keep in mind, it's like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. He will. He will kind of grin, and he will lead you back the group back the way you came. As the captain comes in, the captain will be responsible for taking you all. She'll kind of meet y'all halfway down the hall. He will then.
Do you need help getting the king back to his quarters? I mean, he's.
That's what he turns and he says, we should be able to handle that. You look like you are in need of some rest, with the exception of,
I'm
and
good.
he nods at. Oh, I was gonna say he nods at Baron, with the exception of Baron. The rest of you look like you could definitely use some rest. So he turns to attend to the king with some of the soldiers, and the captain takes over, leading y'all back out of the throne room, and will lead you to one of the common areas. It's one of the royal common areas, so it's nicer than a normal common area. But one of the common areas in the castle where y'all are able to get food and drink, and then y'all will each be shown your individual rooms in the citadel, and.
Before I leave the throne room, I'm gonna just make eye contact with my brother.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just try and say, "Can you respond now?"
And he will respond, "Yes. It's great to hear your voice, either in person or in my head."
I'll just nod and walk out.
And as we're walking, I just kind of want to lean over to Carrick and be like, "Hey, Carrick, you wouldn't happen to have like an extra piece of fleece or something, would you, that I could have?"
I'll dig around in my component pouch. I assume I would. Is it like a regular, like unnamed?
Yeah, just a small piece of fleece.
Yeah, I should.
Right. Then I'll take that, and as we walk down the hallway, I'm just going to make music play behind us, the Imperial March.
Snatch the fleece back out.
That's awesome.
You can't take him anywhere.
No, can't do anything.
I'm telling you, I'm going to use the hell out of minor illusion.
Oh no!
You can't
And
take
I'm
Groot
gonna
anywhere.
start twirling my cane like.
Yeah.
There will be music playing a lot.
Yeah, whistling
Yeah,
along.
I have a feeling the next night no one's gonna get any sleep because all you're gonna do is hear all this music coming from Groot's room.
As I go to sleep, I'm going to have a Gregorian chant going in the background, just.
Yeah, but it's like it's got to repeat every 6 seconds because you got to cast it again.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So y'all all have your individual rooms at this point, and
For
then
every night, yeah.
as y'all kind of get settled, it takes we'll say it takes a couple of hours, but a suit of armor, of the standard Silver Shroud armor, will that, and along with a shield, and it will match, as far as armor and shield, it will match whatever equipment that you had previously, Drew.
Well, I don't know if it'll match exactly. I had some special magic stuff.
Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't know you had some magic stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both armor and shield were both magic.
Okay,
So
I got
it's regular plate armor and regular shield.
Yeah. It'll be a plate armor, and that's because that's what they have is plate armor.
I'll just say, I guess let's everybody get settled in, and maybe we can meet up for lunch in a little while. And
Yeah, but between here and now, if we're making requests, Ivor was asking for some armor as well, plate.
Yeah, I want to go look for some armor.
Either way,
we don't have to address that with the king. I think maybe now that we have badges, we can get the commander.
No.
what I was gonna say was, I want to go back to my suite
Sweet.
Suite that is now free.
You've got your little Dr. Pepper guy in there. Sweet.
Yeah, no. Hey, I'm definitely going back there with the pin on my lapel and saying, hey, I'm going to stay here indefinitely. Thank you. You're welcome. And go back to my room.
Do we have free reign of the Citadel as far as like?
Yeah, there's like an armory and a treasury and
I just want to go
I'll let
to
y'all
the
know
top balcony and
hotel, manor, whatever.
Yeah, the only places that you would not have free reign to go would be the things that, like Carrick just mentioned, like the armory and where they keep coin and things like that. But the rest of the castle, the teleportation circle, and all of that, yes, you have and also the throne room. You are granted access to the king anytime you want to, but you just merely need to make the request. And that's if you're not with Carrick. Now, if you're, again, because if Carrick is gone, again, y'all are considered royal family at this point, royal friends of the family.
Right.
So now, if you're with Carrick, Carrick is obviously the prince. He's second in line, so he has free reign.
Absolutely. And mainly, I just want to go to the guy that asked me that
the barkeep.
on the Citadel that they're not going to let you in. I want to say, by the way.
Baron, while everybody's kind of getting settled in their rooms, Baron is gonna he's gonna kind of catch everybody off by surprise. And he's gonna run out the castle, and he's gonna be gone for maybe about 45 minutes. He's gonna make it back down to the manor, and he's gonna go in and he's gonna flash that crest. He's gonna flash that crest at the barkeep, and he happens to be the same one on duty. And you will see his proverbial jaw drop at that.
He's flexing the barkeep.
Yeah, and he'll be left speechless, and then after a few moments, he will kind of give you a nod with the head as a sign of respect.
Yeah, I'll give him a high five and say, "Told you." And I'm gonna go back to my room and change.
Okay. All right.
I'm walking out.
I'm totally excited that Baron had a wardrobe change to meet the king.
That was pretty cool.
I had to. I mean, you had to. I mean, like, I don't care if we're going to get in a fight or not, but, I mean, I'll find a weapon. Yeah, I had to change to meet the king.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, y'all will, is there any other little things that you want to do once you get settled in your room? Because if not,
as I was walking out of the Citadel, I did want to ask, who was I'm trying to find it, not the king, but like the person that was like his assistant, who are like.
Theo.
Are you talking about the commander of the Silver Shroud, or are you talking about the speaker?
I guess I would be wanting to talk to the speaker.
Okay. Yeah, the speaker was I got all these freaking names. Yeah, that was this guy right here.
Right. I just need to ask him who's in charge of if you could direct me to who's in charge of the city zoning and planning. I just needed to ask a couple questions.
Well, he will he'll look at you, and again, by wearing the crest, you are free to talk to any of the dignitaries or any of the officials here, and he will answer. He said, all matters of public order, all matters of construction, those do go through typically the king himself. But anything that has to do with taxes or tariffs or any type of trade, those go through the master of coin, and he indicates that as a gentleman by the name of Frederick Masterson.
Okay. So property and stuff, that would be Frederick.
Residential and commercial property, yes, would go through him unless they're private businesses that are already established, and then you would speak to those owners directly.
Right.
Anything that's construction, like the church or additions to the citadel or the city wall or city infrastructure itself, that goes through the king.
Okay. Appreciate it. Slap him on the back. Good man. You're a good man.
And he'll turn to his normal business. Everybody kind of milling about the castle, attending to affairs like it's just a normal day, at least normal for them, as normal as it can be. If there was no other things to take care of, then y'all will kind of all get situated and settled. Drew will now have appropriate clothing, and y'all will meet in one of the common royal areas to enjoy lunch. It's roughly 12:30, 1 o'clock at this point. And y'all can discuss anything that y'all want to do. Y'all.
As far as what we need to be doing right now, we need to be finding this. What were they calling him?
The ancient one. We need to be reading about him.
Yeah, find the library. How about that?
Oh yeah, there's a library here. Carrick's already got that on his list.
Yeah, because there's nothing I can do about that. Y'all just have to carry me along. But I will go to.
I think maybe we can talk. We can go around town. What was there? Some political turmoil? Maybe we can figure out what's going on with that and protect the king for a little bit.
And I'll look at the group and say, if we're going to be here for a minute, I could stand to make some money. Seems like I would like to this is nice, but I'd like to get some things back on par with what I had.
For what I remember of the town, there should be lots to do shopping-wise in town. There's lots of good vendors and stuff.
Yeah, I just need gold for vendors.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make some money around if we can.
Maybe we can ask around and see if there's any bounties or anything that are available.
Or like a fighting circle. That'd be fun.
Yes, I'll smash somebody in a fighting circle.
Here's an idea. How about we go to a bar and then we threaten the manager, and then we can open a gambling table in the bar.
No, that's already been discussed.
That is so 2018, Carrick.
I feel like Carrick listened in on me and Brock's conversation yesterday on the phone.
Hey, speaking of elves and aces, I'm not gonna lie. I get more people that stop me, Trevor, and ask me what's on my phone case when I'm on, because they are always I'll be on the phone and people are like, what is that on your case? And they get the whole story about Tobin's elves and aces.
Well, Mark mentioned we need a new elves and aces. I was like, I know. But
we pretty much have the keys to the city. Let's go buy some stuff.
Let's go open the elves and aces.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Well, I tell you what we'll do. For sake of helping open things up a little bit, we're gonna assume that while y'all are sitting there and enjoying lunch, that y'all have brought in we'll say the speaker. That's y'all have asked him to join you for lunch, and y'all spend the entire lunch kind of questioning him about the changes to the town since Carrick was last here, the points of interest as far as what kind of inns and taverns are here, the vendors, the different places that would be possibly worth the Iron Lord's time.
I would start pestering him about problems that the crown has been facing, turmoil, political unrest, even domestic issues, like health issues, food issues, supply issues.
Okay.
Matters of type thing that Carrick has absolutely no experience dealing with, but knows that that's something a king would deal with.
Okay.
And I'll ask about the Emerald Enclave.
Okay. They will, as you spend this meal with him, he will point out some of the same things that you have already kind of learned on your own in your brief time here. He'll kind of give you the 411 on the farm and mention Behringer Farm as being a potential person to talk to. That's already in your journal. You already know of Hamara's Inn. He will mention that located in the Comfort District is a tavern by the name of the Iron Hammer. And so I guess this will be you've gotten a lot of these, but some of this will be a little bit of an information dump, so y'all can review these.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's dump everything now, and then we'll read before the next.
Yeah.
Jerry, we're talking to this conic.
Alistar, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of since he's kind of been acting as the speaker for the king. He's very well. No, he's the one that's been basically making a lot of the public appearances as the king has been secluded.
Okay.
So he'll be able to point the right
Know
direction for
your
all that stuff.
enemy. What level is this guy? Above or below a 10 or equal to a 10?
Oh, he's below.
Below. Okay.
He's just like a dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. This is Orban.
It's like the dude with the clipboard that stands behind the governor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So let's see here. So yeah, he mentions the Iron Hammer and lets you know of its owner. She's a woman by the name of Freya Hammerfist.
Hello,
Oh, yes.
What, I mean, really?
Freya.
And then he mentions the docks right outside the wall on the tributary that kind of comes near the castle, and that's the docks are run by a halfling by the name of Fastolf Hillier. You already know about the Silver Strahd. He also.
I'm just trying to blow this image up as far as I can.
He mentions Drew had made mention of opportunities possibly to earn some money. You'll see kind of a frown on his face, not because of that question, but because of he mentions a gentleman by the name of Walden Millhouse. And he is the one that runs the pit fighting arena.
There you go, Baron.
It's dry out, man. I have to go fight that dude. Make some money.
He will again, because they've been kind of coming and going and delivering supplies. He'll let you know where the Silver Shroud Battalion headquarters is. Carrot kind of mentions if the old archives in town, the library is still in use and open, and he will confirm that and let you kind of remind you of the direction for that. And then as typical that there have been members of the group that have looked for this kind of thing, I'm going to assume at some point someone made mention of where some of the guilty pleasures can be obtained. He will. Let me make sure I got all the people here. Let's see here.
I'll blame Jack for wanting this information.
Oh yeah, here's the librarian. And he will mention a place in the Elven District called the Gilded Wreath. Which is run by a lady by the name of Anywhere.
I mean, come on now.
Oh my lord!
I'm just gonna leave that on the screen.
I think that's ace right there.
What's her name? Lady. Yeah.
Lady
I'm going there right now.
Anywhere. So I'm looking through that as at least of the ones that he knows about. You already know about a gentleman by the name of Volwyn Tharaval.
Those are anywhere.
Yeah, like that. I'm going to the Hiller Docks.
And that was. Okay, I'm making sure I got everything here. So, oh yeah, those are the places that he is familiar with, that he's had the most dealings with, and that should give y'all plenty to. Also, not only the stuff that you already had, but the new stuff that should give y'all kind of plenty to read and decide kind of what y'all want to pursue. It's almost 1:00, so if it's okay, I may want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, before we do that, I have a backpack that I want to give to Darut.
Okay.
So I'll deliver that.
And I will thank him for that.
I'm just trying to move windows around to figure out who the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah, y'all should have. I guess I got so many things here. I'm trying to make sure all the ones that are activated. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Give me something to decide for tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to decide to do some of this, but I'm definitely going to the docks and or where this other chick at. Looks like fun. Bartender, the Iron Hammer. I mean, really, she could dress a little bit more appropriately, but
Yeah, sex sells.
yeah.
So my brother's a vampire. What's up with that? Side note, King Carrick sounds pretty cool.
King Carrick. Hey, all we gotta do is just wait.
Now, if 3 was ready, I'm going to go up tomorrow. I'm going to be real pissed.
All right.
I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
I said if 3 adult dragons show up tomorrow, I'm going to be pissed.
No. That's as with everything. It was a one-time thing.
It's like 3 days from now. It's fine.
Yeah, 3 days. Cool.
I get. All right. So that should give y'all plenty to do, and again, y'all can handle it however you want.
Well, it's what right after noon.
Yeah. It's right around 12:30, 1:00, something like that. Y'all kind of got all that information right after lunch.
I'm gonna go find some quarters and take a siesta. Thing.
Hey, I was gonna say, if we are getting ready to call tonight, do you want to throw up some of the item menus up there so we just so I could be prepared maybe for next session, so we're not having to dig through all the different deals. We can kind of know what we're looking for or not. That's up to you. I'm just gonna say maybe.
No, that'll be as y'all visit the stores.
Okay.
We'll have to shop around.
Yeah, we'll do some meandering around town.
Yeah, I figure that y'all would want to do some of that after y'all spent 7 sessions in a dungeon.
Yeah, we got places to see and badges to flash, people to intimidate. It's gonna be cool.
Hey, Fro, that is good about the badge because I was wondering what was going to happen if they stopped me. I didn't have papers.
I didn't either.
Yeah, well, you came in as nobody. You left as somebody.
Like, how did you get in here? Well, I was in a bag of ashes in a backpack. That's all.
Yeah, I was a bat.
No, I wasn't even a bat. I just flipped. I didn't never do polymorph.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
What will they get or what to do in the city?
Well, don't go to the slums. There's nothing there. Except
Not
for
yet,
the pit.
anyway.
There's a fighting pit apparently there. So
Ira's gonna go buy the whole slums.
I want to go from
I was about to ask, like, what's something like in the slums going per square foot? I'm just curious. What's the price per square foot here?
I'm just gonna do that thing where you buy 3 lots and tear down all 3 houses and build one bigger house.
no,
I'm sorry, Ivor. Most of
You
it's
see
already
this
zoned
spot
for
right here?
parking.
where it says
Literally, dude, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. What's up with the Grimm neighborhood? I mean, I feel like that's on the fringe. I think I could really develop that.
It kind of looks like it's on. It's still in the slums.
Hey, you know what? It's right by the square.
Yeah.
It's right next
Right
to
by
the
the square.
Housing district.
prime real estate.
I'm just
Prime
saying.
real estate.
I'm just saying that's prime real estate right there.
So tell me this: you don't have to share. I mean, like it looks like to me, like there's only one way in the Elven district. Like it's got its own bridge across the river and everything.
There's a smaller bridge that kind of leads to the up here. There might be a way to kind of meander through. It's not walled off, but yeah, there's one major way in the Elven district.
Cool.
Very nice those pointy.
It's not necessarily segregated, so to speak, but it's most definitely what we would consider here in Shreveport. This would be the southern trace.
Gated community.
Yeah, this would be the South Shreveport portion of here.
Mm-hmm.
This would be Cedar Grove up here, and this would be Uri Drive over here.
Right. That's where the Chick-fil-A is.
Yeah.
Hey, side note, I noticed in West Monroe, literally, I've been driving over there for like a year now almost. On Thomas Road, are there 2 Chick-fil-A's side by side?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, just checking. That was the weirdest thing I think I've noticed.
Yeah,
They're
they're less than 200 yards apart.
Yeah. No, there's one that was like the old one, and it's like just a drive-through, and that one's been there for forever. But they built like a brand new, nice one.
Yep.
Like literally one parking lot over.
And you have to wait in line at both of them.
That's crazy because you always hear so many stories that Chick-fil-A is so particular about giving the franchise.
No, it's the same. It's the same owner.
I'm sure.
That's crazy. And like you said, it's I'm sure both of them are stacked.
That place just prints money, man. Just print.
Oh man, I so wish that they had opened one out here in Shreveport. They would make some bank.
Yeah, just like that Johnny's. That Johnny's is crushing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, surely.
And it's literally like the nicest Johnny's I've ever been in.
It is.
Yeah, it's super nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to bed. I gotta get up early.
Yeah, same.
All right.